talk about UFC Fight Night. I've lost count now. The Apex Centre this Saturday. The main event is Brunson against Shabazian, but I would like to talk more closely about Randy Brown against Vincente Luque. Now, this one is an interesting fight because they've got Randy Brown coming in at 2.38 underdog. Vincente Luque is the 1.57 favourite on this one. Now, I don't know. I would say rightly so, but I'm not sure it is rightly so because both of them have fairly decent records. I mean, like Randy Brown's 12-3, Vincente Luque 18-7 rather, and yeah, I mean Vincente Luque, he's got some good wins. He tends to go charging in. He's got good power. So if he catches you, if he gets you on the inside, he's probably going to put you out. But he has lost a couple of times by submission, which is where I think this one's going later on down the line. Because Randy Brown, he has got an excellent triangle. We saw it against Wally Alves. He submitted Wally Alves relatively recently. It wasn't that long ago. But either way, he's on a 3-fight win streak. Is Randy Brown. He's the longer athlete. He's like 6'8". He's 6'3". He's got the reach advantage. He's got long legs. Excellent for doing those triangles, right? Now, Vincente Luque, as I said, he has been submitted a couple of times, and he's a good striker. You know, he beat Perry and Price. Price, of course, beat Randy Brown. One of the more interesting finishes I've ever seen when Randy Brown and Nico Price fought was because Nico Price actually he knocked him out with hammer fists from the bottom. I mean, that sounds like a dodgy film title right there. Yeah, like hammer fisting from the bottom. But either way, I saw it. It happened. It was it happened right in front of my eyes. But yeah, I mean, that was. I'm not saying that was a fluke or a freak, but it's an unusual occurrence. I think that Randy Brown, he should be the favourite in this. I think. I mean, what the fuck do I know? Look, the bookies always know more than I do. They're going to have got this right. Randy Brown is an underdog for a reason. But I just feel like he's the longer athlete. You know, if he initiates a scramble, which is very, very possible, go against the fence, get a trip maybe, and if Vincente Luque ends up on the ground with Randy Brown, I think Randy Brown is getting the submission. And 9.5 to 1, 9.5 to 1 against for the submission. The knockout for Randy Brown. Look, see, Randy Brown, I just think he's probably slightly better in every area, just from a technical standpoint. I think Vincente Luque's got the power, but I think that's about all he's got. And he's got to get inside to be able to use that power. I think if Randy Brown fights long, he uses his reach, which he should be able to do, he can pick him apart on the feet quite easily. And actually, the knockout for Randy Brown is 6 to 1, whereas you've got 2.75 for the knockout for Vincente Luque. And I think, like I said, I mean, I've been wrong plenty. I mean, last week I wasn't. Last week I was bang on. But at the end of the day, I don't necessarily look for bets that are going to definitely come off because I like to keep those odds long, and the bet's terrible because long odds, they're much more fun because you don't want to put too much. Like, you don't want to put too much of a stake down because that's a mug's game. You're just going to end up like, you'll always end up losing eventually. That's why gambling's for idiots. That's why I fucking do it. But either way, Randy Brown by submission, 9.5 to 1. I have put that in to a terrible accumulator as well because if you combine that with Shabazian to win, which is almost a dead certainty, Veneta to get the finish, so either submission or knockout, plus Brown with submission, what do you get? You get a fucking terrible bet. 47.5 to 1. Brutal. Yeah, that's never happening. Do not place that bet. I mean, I'm placing that bet, but do not place that bet. That is a fucking awful bet. Terrible. And anyway, we'll find out how those go at the weekend. I'll do a wrap-up of the fights as I usually do. If you enjoy the content, please give me a like, give me a subscribe. The other fights that I've gone into on that accumulator, I have detailed more closely in the other videos. You'll see them on the playlist, etc. But until next time, keep those odds long and those bets terrible.